In fact, before even I continue, my dear brother Jesse, it's something worth saying that the Maasai cricket warriors deserve a pat on the back, because what is worth doing must just be done thoroughly. And I always tell people that you don't have to grow into a horse just because you are born in a stable, but you can change and become a very wonderful person, and they are a manifestation of the same. To the lady, nothing is impossible, and what men can do, you can even do it better. Keep it up, and Jesse, we can now get to our class. Maybe if we can start with word on the street.
Okay, let's take a look at the word on the street.
Hauteur. Hivyo.
Hatuedi.
Hauteur.
Hatuedi.
Hunter.
Hauteur.
Hatter.
Hauteur.
Uta.
Hauteur.
I think ever since I joined Word on the Street and Friday Briefing, I have never had, a variation of pronunciation. Hauteur, Hauta, I don't know. Willis, kindly take it over and shed some light on this particular issue.
Yes, Jesse, in the first place, the word is from French, and this is a borrowed word from French into the English vocabulary, where it functions as a formal word, and it refers to unfriendly behavior towards other people by someone who thinks he or she is more important or better than them. But the pronunciation is tricky. You say auteur. That is, in British pronunciation, it is auteur. But remember, in American English, you say hauteur. But in British pronunciation, it's auteur. So, tricky as it is, they really tried. But as I always say, we can't laugh at anybody, but we can laugh for learning, because nobody, not even Willis, is perfect.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Willis. Auteur. Let's move over to the next word. Known or talked about by many people. We're talking about the word renowned. Now, is it renowned, renowned? How do you pronounce the syllable E in that particular word, Willis?
Just see, this is another common but tricky word. We don't say renowned at all. In fact, in most cases, you may find somebody misspelling this word with a K. There is no K at all in this word. It's an adjective, and it means celebrated or the other good meanings that you gave. But we say renowned. A renowned author, a renowned comedian, not renowned. Don't use a K, that is R-E-K-N-O-W-N-E-D is a misspelling, a wrong spelling. The right spelling is R-E-N-O-W-N-E-D, and you say renowned. Renowned comedian or renowned author.
Renowned. Thank you, Willis. Over to the next word, yes. Abnormality or impairment in the operation of a specific body organ. We're talking about dysfunction. How do you pronounce this word, Willis, especially the first part, the dis? How do you pronounce it?
Exactly the way you pronounced that word. Dysfunction. Dysfunction, not dysfunction. The first syllable is really confusing to many people. There are people who find themselves saying dysfunction. There is nothing like dysfunction. You say dysfunction.
Dysfunction. Thank you, Willis. Over to the next. This one's tricky. To provide with a quality, ability, or asset. Is it endow or endow?
Endow. Endow. We have the diphthong ow, dow, endow. And you'd say endowed with something, and you also say an endowment. You'd agree with me, Jesse, that many people say endow or endowment, which is wrong. It's like saying eyebrows, which is wrong. You say eyebrows, eyebrows, not eyebrows. And the word here is endow, the way you pronounced it.
Okay, well, it's eyebrows, right?
Yes, eyebrows, not eyebrows.
Okay.
Very common, but wrong.
Okay.
Eyebrows, no. Eyebrows, yes.
Well, I'm sure we've learned something new, especially there. The next word is quite mouthful, having a jelly-like consistency. Is it gelatinous, gelatinous, or gelatinous? How do you pronounce this, Willis?
The way you pronounced it, gelatinous, gelatinous. And you can talk of a gelatinous substance. The word is an adjective, gelatinous.
Gelatinous. Okay. And the next word is meteorological. Meteorological, meteorological. It's mouthful, Willis.
Now, Jesse, this is one of the most commonly mispronounced words in the English vocabulary. In fact, locally, you'll hear many people talking of meteorological. And when you talk about meteorology, meteorology is normally the study of the Earth's atmosphere and its changes, and it's used in weather forecasts. And we talk of meteorology, not metrology. Metrology is the scientific study of measurement. So when you talk about meteorological departments on matters of weather, it would be vague. So the way you said it, we say meteorological, from the word meteorology.
Meteorology. Meteorological.
Yes.
Okay, quite mouthful.
That is it.
Over to the next word, a little bit easier on the tongue, but quite contentious, especially in the first syllable. Is it represent or represent?
You say represent. In fact, we should avoid saying represent or represent. Represent, represent are inaccurate pronunciations. You say re. The first E takes the sound E. Represent, and you also say representative. And Jesse, now that we have this word, we should also remember that we present, that is a verb, not present. And we have presenter, presenter, not presenter. Common but inaccurate.
So the S.
So your word is represent.
Represent.
Yes.
Okay, Willis. Over to the next word. Inseparable, meaning impossible to overcome. Now, is it inseparable, as I first said, or insuperable?
That word has two acceptable pronunciations, Jesse. You can say insuperable or insuperable. Insu or insu. Insuperable and insuperable. For those who find it tricky, they can use the word insurmountable. Insurmountable. That cannot be dealt with successfully.
Insurmountable. That's a synonym.
Yes, that is a synonym, and we can talk of insuperable problems or insuperable problems. That is, problems that are not or cannot be dealt with successfully.
Okay, over to the next word, Willis. The holding of an office. Is it tenure? Tenure? How do you pronounce it, Willis?
A very tricky one. Some people even say tenure or tenure. The word is simply pronounced as tenure. Tenure.
Tenure.
Not tenure, not tenure, not tenure, tenure. Simple as such. A 5-year tenure as president.
Okay. Well said, Willis. An awkward situation. I'll ask a personal question. What form does the consonant Q in this particular word take? I think that's the problem in this particular word. Is it quagmire or I don't know how to pronounce it. Quagmire. I'm sure most people might actually confuse it, especially since it starts with the letter Q.
Yes, letter Q in English, letter Q has only one sound value, Jesse. It's just sound k, k. But the orthography, that is the spelling system, when we have letter sequences in English, you'll have Q-U-A, Q-U-I. U normally comes immediately after Q in the English orthography. That is the spelling system. Now, we say this word, you say quagmire, but remember you can also say quagmire. So the two pronunciations are alternative pronunciations, or you can say both are acceptable. So you can say quagmire, and you can also say quagmire.
Okay, Willis, quagmire. I think we got it right. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Let's move over to the feedback. Of course, you're very interactive on your social media handle at Willis Ochieng1. Perhaps highlight some of the feedback you got throughout the week as we continue with this Mind Your Language segment.
Well, that is great. And Jesse, you see sometimes when even the way you present, in fact, when you are there and when Ashley is also there, you know, the flow really makes it very clear for our dear viewers. That is one feedback that I got from somebody I would not mention, but a very senior person in our country. Now, we have Isaiah Mwendwa of Kitui. Isaiah and our dear viewers, you say schedule. Schedule. In British English, it's schedule. Schedule of classes. Scheduled to take place. Scheduled for this and that. But when you come to the American pronunciation, you say schedule. Those who are inclined to American English would say schedule, schedule. But in British English, you say schedule. Immaculate Wanjiko of Muranga, you say buffet, the meal, buffet. But the verb is buffet, to buffet. That is B-U-F-F-E-T. So we have also Alan Ben Gaffer of Nairobi. You say alias, alias. Many people find themselves saying alias, like we used to hear of Alias Wanugu. But the accurate pronunciation of that word is alias. That is A-L-I-A-S. Alias Wanugu, not Alias Wanugu. Marianne Makoha of Bungoma. The verb is prefer, to prefer something to another. To prefer, not prefer, prefer. But when you come to the noun, you say preference, preference. Don't say preference. Common but inaccurate. Just like we say refer as a verb, but we have reference as a noun. Stacy, Cheryl, many people mispronounce that second name as Cheryl or Cheryl. It's Cheryl. Stacy, Cheryl, and Junior Omondi, Jeffrey, which people also say Geoffrey or Geoffrey. So Stacy and Junior, a female sheep is ewe. E-W-E is ewe, a ewe. And then the past tense of win is won. Many people say won, but that is wrong. You say won. They won the match. They won the match, not they won the match. Emma Akinyi of Nyahera Girls, or Yugis, or Homa Bay County for that matter, you say cemetery. Emma Akinyi, you say cemetery. Mwalimu David Mayaka, you say although, then though, alternatively, then the verb is to alternate. To alternate. You realize I'm saying nate. I'm saying nate towards the end. To alternate. That is a verb. But when the same word functions as an adjective, you say alternate. Alternate. Now, Jacob Zuma Otiende of Ojola Kisumu, you say diocese, not diocese. Abdallah Mohammed of Mombasa, cremation. Don't say cremation. It's cremation. The body was cremated or cremated. Now, don't say cremation. You say cremation. Then we would go straight to our surprise word for tonight, Jesse. And this is a common word. Many people find themselves saying cesarean, cesarean, which is wrong. You say C, then you get to a stress and say zerian, Caesarean, just the way I've done the phonetic transcription down here. Caesarean, not Caesarean, not Caesarean. And when you have it in full for the medical operation, you say Caesarean section, Caesarean section. So we should get it right. Now, we have words which confuse people, but it doesn't mean that they have to be different in pronunciation. Tonight, I've brought two words. That is F-A-T-E and F-E-T-E. When you keenly look at the transcriptions which are this side, you realize that the transcriptions are just exactly the same. They are the same. So, these two words are spelled differently. They also have different meanings, but the pronunciation is just the same. Such words are called homophones. They are technically called homophones. So you say fate, fate. To fate somebody, but also somebody's fate. So you can fate, he was fated, fate, and also fate, homophones. And then finally, as you watch KTN News on Friday briefing, and then the segment, Mind Your Language, you have a chance to understand or to learn the phonetic symbols. Tonight we have two diphthongs. I said diphthongs are cases where we have glides on two vowel sounds, diphthong or diphthong. We have this one, air. When you see these symbols, you know you have the glide that is air. Air, just like in the word mare. You can see down here, mare. But when we have this side, this symbol on the other side is for the diphthong or diphthong, ear. Ear, you say mere. That is this side, mere. So, these symbols, when you look at good dictionaries, especially as your reference, they can guide you to know how to pronounce a word. If you know those phonetic symbols, and you just have a chance or take your time every Friday and watch Mind Your Language during Friday briefing on KTN News, and you'll be well and fine at home with them. Otherwise, you can also interact with me on @WillisOchieng1. That is on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @WillisOchieng1. Otherwise, Jesse, back to you, the great team in Nairobi.
Well, thank you very much, Willis. That's the word master, obviously highlighting how we should pronounce various words in the best way possible. Willis, the word master, always a pleasure. Do have yourself a wonderful night. Even as we, you're now Maasai, I see.
am, and I've been given a name. I'm called Nashipai, which means the happy one, so accurate. And you are Kilusu, which means the visible one.
Ah, visible. Well, that, as long as I can dance, I saw you dancing.
I can do classes, that to save the Costarian in me just can't do that.
It's totally fine. I think that applies to me as well.
All right. So that's where we come to a close here on Friday Briefing. Many thanks for joining us and staying with us. I am Ashley Nashipai Mazuri.
What was my name again?
Kilusu.
Okay.
Our sign language interpreter is Maresha Wichi.
And my name is Jesse Rogers Kilusu. Thank you for watching. Good night.
This is KTN News.
Right at the heart of one of Kenya's busiest open-air markets, we meet Mary Wangui Waititu. She has been selling second-hand clothes for a couple of years. Her story is about success and determination. For Mary, 5 a.m. is usually when she swings into action at her workplace. As an early riser, Mary tells me that by doing this, one man